you're tired, and probably you're feeling so overwhelmed and unproductive. You don't know how to get things done in less time. But probably you'd want to know how. Then worry no more, because this is a good video for you. In this video, I'm going to be unveiling 4 strategies, call them tactics, that will be useful and practical for you if you really want to achieve more in less time. And without wasting much of your time, let's get straight into the video. By now, I believe you have a piece of paper and a pen with you at hand, right? So this first strategy I'm about to share with you is one that is going to be so eye-opening to most of you who are finding it hard to balance work, life, and family. Yeah. So this strategy is the 8 plus 8 plus 8 strategy. Basically, this strategy is where you get to divide your whole entire day in 3 equal parts of 8. That is 8 hours of work, 8 hours of leisure, and 8 hours of health. Don't get stuck and confused with the work, leisure, and health part. This could be anything that you're planning to do. How do you do this? So you get to sit down on a piece of paper or whatever you get to plan from and plan your entire day. So your entire day might be around 24 hours, depending on the time you get to have. Yeah. So get to divide that into 3 equal parts. That is 8 hours of work, 8 hours of leisure, and 8 hours of productivity. Yeah. So the whole essence of doing all this is to try and optimize productivity, work, and leisure. For all you who think you don't have enough time throughout your day, I believe this will be the best strategy of all the strategies I'm going to share with you, that you will get to get the best out of your time so that you can optimize the work, life, and health balance. Up next is the Eisenhower Matrix, or what most people like to call the urgent, important matrix. It is as straight as is. Yeah? So this is a time management tool where you get to divide your tasks into which ones to get focused on and which one you get to give less focus, yeah, based on the level of urgency and importance. Here's how it works. Sit down with a piece of paper and pen and write down all the important tasks, or all the tasks. It might not be that important, but write down all the tasks that you really have to execute throughout the day, right? So the second step will be to draw a matrix table of 4, that is important and not important, against urgent and not urgent. So that will result into 4 quadrants, that is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. So for the first quadrant, this is a quadrant where you have to put everything that is so important and urgent. Usually these are the things that have deadline with them. Say you had an assignment, you had an assignment that you really had to submit by maybe 2 p.m. later in the day. So this is one of the tasks that you have to put in the quadrant 1, because it's so important and it's so urgent. So it's so important and so urgent. Yeah. So you get it. Now, in the next quadrant, that is quadrant 2, that is where you put tasks that are important but not so urgent. Yeah. Say after having a deadline of 2, maybe later on you want to go and call someone or schedule a meeting, a Zoom meeting with a friend or a client. Yeah. It might not be so urgent at the moment, but it is so important. So that is a task where you have to schedule. Yeah. Now, in the quadrant 3, that is not so important but urgent. Yeah. So for instance, within that same day you have an activity of doing laundry. Okay. This is so important because everyone has to look good. Yeah, it's part of the game. Yeah. So it is so urgent but not so important, because you might have other clothes, you might have to do what. So it's not that important, but it's very urgent. So this is the portion, or this is a section where you have to delegate those tasks. Yeah. Find someone else who can do that work for you. Now in the last section, that is the quadrant 4, this is where you put everything that you really need to, whether you do them or not, doesn't change anything. Yeah. So there's a section where you put all that distractions. Say you have to text someone, you have to go do all unproductive work. That's the section for all that. Yeah. So in a wholesome summary, yeah, in section 1, that's where you have to put your very to-do activities. In section 2, that's where you get to put your activities or tasks that you have to schedule. And in section quadrant 3, that's where you get to put the activities that you have to delegate. And for all the activities that are distracting, yeah, you put them in quadrant 4 and forget about them. Whether you do them or not do, doesn't matter. Yeah? So that's the Eisenhower matrix. Up next is the Parkinson principle. This is a common principle among time management gurus. But if you didn't know what it was, let me try and briefly explain it. This principle asserts that work expands to fill the amount of time that is available for its completion. Let me give an example. Right? Say you have 5 hours to do a certain assignment. Yeah? With this principle, if you give yourself all the time hours that you required to achieve that assignment or to get that assignment done, it's going to take you those 5 hours. But say for instance, you have other things to do within your day, other important things to do within your day, and you assign yourself just 3 hours or 2 hours to get that assignment done. That will be enough time to complete that task. In other words, it's going to take you those 3 hours that you've given yourself or allocated yourself to get that task done. And that is basically the whole essence of the principle. You're going to finish that task in the amount of time that you've allocated yourself. Yeah, that's it. It's nothing. It's not common science. Just like when we were back in school, we would be among the people who would say, we perform best under pressure. We perform best in the last 10 minutes. Yeah, I know most of you have done this. Yeah, it's you like, I'll do the work in the end times. Yeah, so you're given an assignment of 2 weeks, but you choose to do the work in 1 day. Why is that? That was Parkinson's principle at work. Yeah? So the work that would have taken you a whole 2 weeks to do, you are able to achieve in just 1 day. Yeah? So that means that work you had expanded to fill its time for completion, which is 1 day to get done. And that's it. Now, the final principle will be the Pareto's principle or the Pareto's rule. So what this rule basically asserts is that 20% of the efforts account for 80% of the results that gets to be put in. Yeah. For instance, let's first put it into business terms. This would mean 20% of the efforts would result into 80% of the profits. Yeah. So 20% of the marketing will have to result into 80% of the profit or sales. That's it. And if you're to apply this, you have to find what are the 20% of the activities that will generate 80% of the results. Yeah? Say you're trying to achieve or get a certain assignment done. Yeah? So you'll need to come up with that 20% of the activities that you have to do fast with no distraction that will result to the 80% of the end result. That in terms of marks, that will be researching before getting the right books at hand, so that you limit less of the time you spend on finding resources, finding who to approach, finding which interviews to peruse through, finding which articles to read through. So all that could be done in that 20%. It's these 20% that are going to result to the 80% of the final results. Right? So that's it. No more fluff, no more time wasted. If you put all these 4 principles to use, I guarantee you're going to achieve maximum results in less time. Let's say that you only have 1 hour to get something done. What would you be using? Watch this video next, because in that video I'm going to digest how you can use that 1 hour to get the most out of it, be it in research, be it in business, be it in everything that you have, given that you have only 1 hour left to get things done. So watch it next. I swear you won't regret.